Hey guys, welcome to Topical. I am Nate, and these are my top 5 favorite lightsaber duels in Star Wars. So, to preface this, as I have many times on this channel, this is a movie channel. So, these are only lightsaber fights from actual Star Wars movies. Love Rebels, love Clone Wars, love most of the live action stuff we get from Disney nowadays. Really good lightsaber fights in all of those, but we talk about movies here, so these are all from the movies. So at number 5, I have Luke versus Darth Vader. I call it 1. So the first time they fight in Empire Strikes Back. When I made this list, I tried to think about more than just like how cool was the lightsaber fight, and also like what is the importance of this lightsaber fight. Also, this one I feel like pretty important because it's meant to show like the true power difference between these two. So it's like Luke is showing that he's not a complete and total scrub, but like Vader is Vader. You know, Luke's kind of getting tossed around a little bit. He's doing his best to do some stuff. And it doesn't end well for him. He gets his hand cut off, ends with him, the big reveal of Star Wars and all that stuff. So, like, yes, because it's older, it's not as flashy, not as acrobatic as a lot of other lightsaber fights that we get throughout the series. But it is a really, really important one, and still a really cool lightsaber fight, in my opinion. Number 4 is going to be Dooku versus Anakin and ObiWan 2. So Revenge of the Sith. Really, really cool lightsaber fight. Very cool looking. We get to move around this room a lot while they're doing it. And this one really lands on the list because of its importance. Because the last time that they had this 2-on-1 fight, Obi-Wan and Anakin got their ass handed to them. And it did not end very well for them at all. Anakin loses a hand. Obi-Wan gets knocked the fuck out. Yoda's got to come save him, basically. So this fight shows, it shows that both of them like have increased in their skill. Obi-Wan is obviously calm. He's very wise. He's smart. So not only did he may not have like severely increased his like fighting capability with a lightsaber, but he's never going to forget the last time he fought Dooku. So he's going to be way more aware. He's paying attention to stuff. It still gets knocked the fuck out or choked out or however you want to put it. But really what this fight does is show how far Anakin is coming. Not only in his like battle IQ, but his ability with a lightsaber, his adaptability. Words are hard. And ultimately comes out on top. And like the way that this fight ends is also really cool and also really important to the story, because I just love that little side look that Dooku gives Palpatine, and we get a great meme out of it. Do it. Number 3 for me is going to be Rey and Kylo Ren versus the Praetorian Guards. I didn't want to just include like lightsaber on lightsaber fights in this because of this fight. This fight is really, really cool. The choreography is absolutely insane. Even the way it starts with Snoke getting cut in half and then immediately having to go into this fight against these dudes together. And the stuff that they pull off in this scene is like absolutely wild. The color palette really, really lends to it. In new Star Wars, we don't show blood. So the fact that the Praetorian Guards are all wearing red, anytime they do get cut up, you kind of get this pseudo appearance of blood, especially when the one falls in those fan blades and the stuff just kind of like poofs up. It is very clear that it is his clothes being shredded, but it is also intended for us to like perceive that as like some level of gore. But yeah, from them like tossing lightsabers to each other, to Rey doing the whole dropping the saber to get out of a chokehold and then snatching it, to the Ren catching the one that's cut off and then just popping it on through the dude's skull. Like, you can get all you want into like Jedi and Sith etiquette and how, turning your lightsaber off and on isn't like whatever. It's fucking cool, man. And that fight is really cool. And it's really fun to watch. Number 2 for me is Anakin versus ObiWan in Revenge of the Sith. For a lot of people, this is number 1. Like, I think that's super fair and understandable. The choreography is incredible. How much we're moving around is awesome. The only reason it's number 2 for me is that I just think that the way that it's filmed, and I know they probably had no choice. There's a lot of green screen in this fight, for sure. But there are a lot of cuts. There are a lot of like close-ups that, this is supposed to be an emotional fight. Like, Anakin is turned. That's heartbreaking to Obi-Wan. So like you have just uncontrollable anger versus like uncontrollable despair, but with the logic and understanding of I have to stop this. So yeah, you want to show close-ups to show the emotion on these characters' faces, but the way you do the close-ups in these fights kind of takes you out of the fight a little bit. Instead of it being like, I guess what I'm saying is I wish the fight was like a little more seamless in the way that it was filmed. But still some really, really cool stuff. One of the longer lightsaber fights we get to see. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I ran out of words to say. And then number 1 for me is going to be the Duel of the Fates. It has, I think, some of the same problems that I just talked about with the Anakin versus Obi-Wan fight. And that, like, there are times where we have to take pauses. Like, with the heat trap doors closing, we have to stop for a second. Which is okay, because it's like they want the audience to try to catch its breath. And it also builds tension, which is good. Obviously, Darth Maul's double-sided lightsaber is really, really cool. Darth Maul as a character, really, really cool, especially when you get more about him in Clone Wars and Rebels and like seeing what happened to him and all that stuff. There are, like, again, some close-ups that take you out of it, but like I said before, I also really try to weigh in the importance of the fight. And I really like, I don't know if it's necessarily something we can say is confirmed, but I think it was an interview with Sam Witwer where he was talking about how this really is a duel for Anakin's fate because Qui-Gon would have been a perfect master for him. Like, he doesn't necessarily adhere to the Jedi rules super strictly versus Obi-Wan, who was a super stickler for the rules, and had Anakin had a master who was like not constantly telling him to like suppress your feelings and blah blah blah, and was like, hey, like, it's okay to miss your mom, like, we can figure it out, and like you can still be a Jedi. Things could have been completely different for him, and that's not what happens because Qui-Gon dies. And so I think that the potential implications for this fight are massive, like in the story that we end up getting for Star Wars. And on top of that, sick soundtrack, really sick lightsaber duel with 3 of arguably the best characters in all of Star Wars. So that's my list of my top 5 favorite lightsaber fights. Let me know what yours are down in the comment section below. Scroll back up, hit the like button, and subscribe.